Hi, I'm Chaplain Marianne L., and I serve at Bailey Chase on the eastern shore of Maryland. For today's reflection, I would like to talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness is something that every human being has to deal with at one time or another. It's not an easy topic. It's not an easy process. It is a process, and it takes time, sometimes a long time, sometimes a shorter time, depending on the grievance or what happened. But we always have questions about forgiveness, like how often do I need to forgive something? And are there limits? Who should be forgiven and who shouldn't, and for what? These are questions that we all ask as we try to work through the process of forgiveness. So there's a story about a king who wants to settle accounts with his slaves, and he comes up with one of his slaves who owes him an incredible amount, who's in debt to him, incredible amount of money. And so he asks for it, and the slave asks for mercy and says, please don't sell me, don't sell my children, I will pay you back all of it. And he fell on his knees and begged, and out of pity, the king said to him that he would release him and forgive him from all his debt. He owed nothing. So the slave went out and saw somebody that he knew and who owed him 100 times less of what the other one owed. And that slave says, please don't make me pay it. I can't. I'll pay it back. Don't throw me in prison, and begs in the same way, gets on his knees in the same way as this very other slave did. But instead, the slave says to him, no, you're going to prison. And so he sends him to prison. Now all the other slaves get upset and go to the king, who originally forgave the first slave, and tell him what happened. And the king is furious, and he calls him back in and throws him in prison, and talks about how God will do that to us if we don't forgive our brothers and sisters from our heart. And so I love this story, right? Because we receive mercy and grace from God, and it's incredible. And this mercy that we receive has to flow through us to other people. It's just, we have to keep in mind that we received it, and that because we received it, we have to offer it to others. So I'm reminded of a cute little story of a little boy who's sitting on a bench, and he's in a lot of pain and crying. And a gentleman comes by and asks him, well, what's wrong? And he says, well, I'm sitting on a bee. And the gentleman said, well, get off the bee, get off the bench. And why are you not getting off the bench? And he says, well, because I figure I'm hurting the bee more than I'm hurting myself. Well, I think that's funny. But it's not atypical for how we deal with forgiveness, right? That if we're not willing to get off the bench of unforgiveness, both parties continue to experience pain, and there's no relief for them. So I'm wondering, for us, what needs to be forgiven? How can we practice forgiveness with all of that grace and mercy that we have received, and just begin to deal with other people very gently and very lovingly, the way God deals with us? Have a wonderful day. God bless you.